Welcome to episode 10 of Two Dudes, Different States. I'm your host, Andrew, and this is my co host, Zach, the king of sausage.
I've never been introduced like that before, but we'll
Well,
give it a
there you
shot.
go.
Welcome everyone to episode 10, the decade mark of Two Dudes, Different States. We did it, Bennett. Episode
Oh,
10.
yeah, we did it. That's our,
We're
that's
just
our iconic line now, is that
oh,
every episode at the beginning we go, we did it.
it's we can pride ourselves. We are
hmm
officially one episode better
Right.
than Star Wars.
Yeah, I guess so.
But no, we'd like to welcome everyone. Uh, it's been a hot one this past week, and I
hmm
know for myself working outside, it's been pretty miserable. It's been humid. It's been uh, it's been gross. But that's just the deal with the trades. I know with you, it's been somewhat luxurious working at your house and the air condition and
Yes.
all that.
hmm
But
With
and
windows.
I, yeah, with windows. But no, I think this week I wanna get into the whole sports aspect,
hmm
like the live sports, because this week, after what has been or seemed like been forever since we've had sports televised live for us, we officially have our first sport returning this week, Bennett.
Yes, we do. Classic. Classic sport.
American Classic
One with a ball.
and a bat
Yep.
and a pitcher and a catcher.
It's cricket.
It's hockey, right? No.
hmm
No,
That's 2 more
baseball is
weeks.
officially back this week, and I couldn't be more excited. Personally, just because I love the sport of baseball, and secondly, we have a lot of prospects for my team, the Detroit Tigers. We got a lot of prospects that I'm interested to see show their stuff, interested to see what they got, because we have a kid that's right out of high school. This Riley
hmm
Green kid, he's straight up 18 years old. This kid isn't even allowed to drink yet, and he's already in the majors.
It happens.
And I couldn't be more excited because we got this week we got baseball coming back, and in the next few weeks, next I think less than a month, we're supposed to be getting football back. And even though there's some problems going on there with the whole like how the players are going to be treated and how they're going to do safety and all that type of stuff,
hmm
I got a glimpse of last night watching the Nationals and the Phillies play. I saw a few highlights from that. I saw some decent potential of what I think all the stadiums and all the teams are going to be doing, and that's with the projected over the loudspeakers, voices of like cheering fans and all that type of stuff. I don't know if you had the chance to get a look at any of that, or
No, I
if you know what
haven't.
I mean.
I mean, I saw some stuff about like some of the fighting sports, like MMA, where
Oh,
like
with White Island.
um, well, I don't know who it was. I don't know the people's names really, but I've seen like some of the arena stuff and like where it's just nobody there and it's
It's
just the
only the essential
commentators.
people that are there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Well,
strange looking.
with baseball, you know how like, they had that classic view of the from home plate to the pitcher's mound
Yeah.
that they have all the time.
Mhm.
Well, that in the background where there's usually people sitting right behind home plate, they have
Mhm.
like cardboard cutouts of people
Why?
to give like a little bit of like a atmospheric
Is
presence,
that for
I
the
guess you can say.
players?
I don't know,
It's definitely not
but
for us. If it
what
is, it's
they're
stupid.
it's stupid, but it's kind of like you've been accustomed to playing a certain way, and you're expecting certain things to stay the same, but they can, and I guess this is their way of trying to fix it.
This is the way.
This is the way, exactly. But no, one of the cool things that they've decided to do, and I think the Premier League over in Europe have done, is put in like sounds that make it sound like there's a stadium full of people there.
Interesting.
And with baseball, it's different, because you got, usually it's the home team that has the louder presence at their, in their respective stadium,
Mhm.
but they can't really have that. So what they do is, say like the home team hits like a home run or something like that, someone makes a great play, there's like a big burst and cheering and yelling and screaming and all that type of stuff. They have that play whenever something happens like that.
Hmm.
And it's like the exact opposite for like if like the opposing team hits a home run or does that, the crowd will get quiet or something like that, and they'll have just like just random stuff going on. They won't have like any of the swearing and all that like you'd probably hear at a regular game. But they uh they constantly have crowd murmur going through the loudspeakers.
Mhm.
So like it's like an atmospheric presence that they're trying to put on. Because once they start broadcasting these games on live television,
Yeah.
it's it's gonna need to be there because you can't just have like a quiet stadium with just the crack of the bat on the ball or vice versa.
Yeah. I mean, I think you could, but I don't know if I don't know. It's just they could do it, and I don't think things would change that much. I think people would just understand that that you're watching from home. It's
Mm.
I don't know if
And
I ever
it's
really noticed the crowd like noises.
see, you could do this now if you go on to YouTube if you want to pull that up real quick and just type in Nationals Phillies game from last I think 2 nights ago or last night. I think that's what it was.
Mhm.
Just like on YouTube.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, this was the other night. Sorry about your Nationals there,
I
but
don't care.
it it was cool because it was because you could see yeah, that's the one. Yep. Like you have like certain people uh just there, but like I think Bryce Harper hit a home run against the Nationals,
Mhm.
and
Naturally.
they were just they were all like the cheering went quiet because they're at the Nationals ballpark. They can't
Mhm. Oh,
really
they were
make a
here.
lot of
I didn't know that.
and there's also the Mets and the Yankees played last night or 2 nights ago or something like that. And
Mhm.
if you pull that one up, you'll see that there's actually cardboard cutouts of the people behind home base.
That's so silly.
But no, it's definitely going to be interesting to see where that goes and see how they're going to do that.
Mhm.
Not Mets Cardinals,
Who'd you say it was? You said
Mets
Cardinals.
Yankees,
Oh, okay.
and I said cardboard cutouts.
Oh,
Come on,
cardboard
Bennett.
cutouts. What this one? Doesn't really matter, I guess.
Not this one. Not this one. I don't think. Go. It's like the fourth video down. The 3 minute.
This one?
Yes, that one.
Who's wearing masks?
You see all the
Yeah,
cardboard
yeah,
cutouts. I guess like fans submitted the like the pictures or whatever,
yeah. Mhm.
and the Mets or whoever team they were at, whatever ballpark they were at, they made cardboard cutouts of the people that submitted their
Their faces.
faces and
There's a
stuff.
dog right there.
Yeah, there's a dog exactly.
Wow. Well, that's at least creative. I didn't know if it was just like playing cardboard or something.
Mm-mm.
I didn't know what you were describing really. I didn't realize it was people, like fans. That's actually
Mhm.
kind of creative.
Yeah, I mean I think Europe's been doing this for a few months
Yeah.
while they've been playing because like
Mhm.
the EPL has been going on for I think at least a month,
Yeah.
and I think they're about to start going into their playoffs for the Premier League, so it's going to be interesting. And
Yeah. Well, I think
another
things have
oh
calmed more in Europe, I guess. I don't know. It's hard to keep track of news over there when I can barely keep track of news outside my own door. So.
mhm. Yeah, I mean like I hear all the time like on radio stations and all that when I'm driving home from work saying like U.S. has done just a terrible job with how they've done things, and
Mhm.
if they just did things the way that Europe has,
Yeah.
we probably would have had this beat by now.
Mhm.
But at the same time, we'll never know. Like we won't
Nah.
know if like they'll have a resurgence or like if they'll it'll just spike randomly or something like that.
Yeah.
But it's going to be interesting this next year and a half or so to see where everything goes because sports are such a huge economic impact. Like they have such a huge economic impact
Mhm.
on the United States, and we're like the only country in the world that has like four major sports
Yeah.
in like going on because we got
Mhm.
football, hockey, baseball, and basketball.
Yeah.
Other countries might just have one or two,
Mhm.
maybe like a select few have three, but we're like the only country that has four major sports that run year round.
Yeah. And speaking of which, you mentioned um, we do have obviously four major sports, and one of those is being hockey, and hockey's very uh, well known in Canada as well. And they
Hmm.
announced that like their playoff games that they're going to be doing soon are only going to be in Canada
Yeah,
because of the
Edmonton and somewhere else, correct?
Toronto, I think.
Somewhere.
Yeah.
I did see that, and
Which I thought was interesting because just bringing up the fact that baseball just restarted. They're playing in the U.S., so I don't know why the NHL was like, no, we can only play in Canada. Maybe it's just so that the players are all in one area
yeah,
and it's
it's like
easier.
a bubble type thing because that's
Hmm.
what the NBA is doing. It's like
Hmm.
there's a 16 team playoff that
Hmm.
is going on with the NBA, and what they're doing is they got four hotels with four different teams in it, and if like this just happened last week or something like that, there was a guy on one of the teams that were staying in at Disney because that's where the bubble is, the Disney
Hmm.
park, and one guy crossed the line for the bubble to get takeout food.
Yeah.
He had to quarantine for 14 days
Hmm.
before he was allowed to return to his teammates.
Wow.
And that's just nuts because you just stepped out to get takeout food
Hmm.
and now you're having to quarantine.
That's ridiculous.
And I don't know if you saw this, but the Toronto Blue Jays, the baseball team,
Yeah.
uh, they just they're in a bubble essentially at uh at their home ballpark.
Hmm.
Like they are legit. Like they have like a hotel there, like at their ballpark, and no one from the team is allowed to leave that
Wow.
until certain things are like accommodated.
That's
But
pretty
it's
nuts.
just it's a whole mess of problems, and
Hmm.
I'll be shocked if like any of these seasons see all the way through. So
Well, I hope they do. I don't know. Everybody just says like, "Oh, I want things to get back to normal," and I don't know if I'm just like a skeptic or I'm somebody who's watched too many movies, but the idea of like, there's always this concept of like going back to normal, but like things don't go backwards. Like you have to like move forward into the next thing,
mhm.
and things are definitely going to be different. But I think there are certain things in place now, like the mask wearing and um, keeping distant from other people and gyms being closed down. Like you're pretty upset about that, but um, there's just sort of this like tendency to think that everything just needs to go back to normal, but there's going to be new things in the future, and I don't know what those things are, but I think we're going to see like things reopen eventually, and I think it'll just be different. I don't know specifically how, but I know things will be different. You won't necessarily be like just walking around not really caring about germs in the air or on surfaces anymore. Like I think people for a good couple of years are going to be pretty uh, germophobic in a way. Like I think for kids for sure are definitely gonna get hit hard when it comes to school. And I
Mhm.
have a lot of
If
teachers in my
they
family, and they're talking a lot about like how they're gonna handle this, and it's gonna be it's gonna affect kids' minds like at this age, like especially like young kids, and they're gonna think differently in 10 years than we were at their age, and it's just gonna be totally different. And they're gonna probably emphasize more like sanitation and being clean. And I wonder if like they'll still have the same kind of environmental movement as like the millennial generation had.
Mhm.
Um, whereas like I like to think of myself as a Zoomer. I don't know for sure because I've looked it up a bunch of times of like what age is technically the start of it, and I've seen anywhere between like 1990 and 1997, and I was born in 95, so I'm like, I'll just take it.
We'll pick the in between for
Yeah,
that one.
yeah.
And
So,
I'm in the same boat as you
mhm,
with that, with like everything you just said. And I think one of the things, as you said, is like we have to move forward. But I think one of the constant things that we're gonna see from now on is people wearing masks.
yeah, it's gonna be more common for sure, and I think just people have to accept that. There's a lot of people, you could say they're part of a political side or whatever, but people who like still think that not wearing a mask is okay, and just kind of walking around and going, oh, it's infringing on my rights or whatever. It's like it's not about you, right? It's about your community, and things are just gonna be different going forward, and sometimes you just have to accept that, and like you
Yeah,
can't just fight it forever because you're gonna lose, and
yeah,
eventually it might be a law, and we don't know, and like that could be a really big step forward, but um, you could be penalized for not wearing masks.
yeah, and I mean, people have already been penalized for that.
Hmm.
Like it's like you may not like it, but it you know it, some of these things are helping save lives, and you just got to learn to accept that. And if I have no problem with if you're wearing a mask or if you're not wearing a mask.
Hmm.
Like I keep saying to you, Bennett, just don't be licking doorknobs, don't be coughing on people,
Hmm.
you know, don't be doing any of that gross shit that you shouldn't be doing.
Right.
And I'm not gonna yell at someone who's not wearing a mask if I'm wearing a mask.
No, I would never go that far.
I'm not gonna be a Karen in this situation.
Hmm. Yeah.
But
But
just for me, I understand. There's people that don't want to wear a mask because they don't feel like they need to.
hmm.
But at the same time, for me, it's kind of a different situation because my dad is one of those people that are a health risk.
Yeah.
So I can't be tracking that stuff back into my house
Hmm.
um when I have someone that has a few medical conditions that are he could get very sick from this from. So
Yeah.
I respect your decision not to wear a mask, but you also have to respect my decision to wear a mask. And I think that's what people just don't seem to understand or agree upon, is that people have
Hmm.
differing reasons for what they're doing, and if you don't like it, then you're the devil or something like that.
Yeah, and I think it just goes along with I think partially what I was saying is that it goes so out of the norm of what they used to live like, and used to just be able to kind of walk anywhere and go anywhere without really caring about what germs were where, and you didn't really care about getting sick too much or getting the flu. And now I think it's been so emphasized based on this virus, yeah, um,
Hmm.
that it's become a big important thing in many families, bigger than it probably used to be. And I think there's more to, like, parents are probably teaching their kids as best as they can to like be more clean and the importance of that, and more than just like, hey, brush your teeth in the morning and night, or like scrub behind your ears or something, whatever parents do. Um, but yeah, and then with the face mask thing, I think uh, we've we've seen a lot of weird news when it comes to that. But I think one of the biggest things that I think really um, like affected me and was like, oh, okay, I kind of get why this is becoming super important, or like kind of going along with the idea of like you can't go back to normal, or like there's no going back to the way it was, is the idea that like apparently like some people will go to the grocery store or wherever, someplace you need to wear a mask, or they're requiring you to,
Hmm.
and they'll be turned away and told like they can't come in without it, and they're complaining, those people who are turned away are complaining that um, they can't do that, but you can do that actually, because like you can't walk into a place without a shirt on
Yeah.
and they can tell you to get out and put a shirt on. Like that's the company's right. And I'm going, you know what? If a company says they want you to be wearing a mask, you know what? They can, and they're trying to be safe and they're trying to follow.
It's their business that they're
Yeah.
thinking about. It's at the
Mhm.
same time, and Adam, our friend, he says like he's not for the masks. Like he thinks it's dumb, and I respect his decision about it.
Sure.
And he said that he was told to wear a mask the other day when he walked into a place,
Mhm.
and he goes, "All right, I'll just go somewhere else." He just walks right out of the he just straight up just
Yeah.
walked out of the place of business. I
And
mean,
that.
like he has the right to not wear a mask. He also
Mhm.
has the right to not go into that business.
Right.
The business also has the right to deny anyone service if they're not wearing a mask. That's everyone's right. He didn't
Mhm.
make a big deal out of it. He just said, "All right, I'll just go somewhere else."
Yeah.
And that's what, and like
And that'll
again, that's
happen.
what
It's gonna.
people don't understand. It's like
Mhm.
everyone has rights, and like if you don't want to follow what a company has the right to do, then
Mhm.
that's your fault. That's your
Yeah.
problem.
Like earlier this month, I went to the eye doctor, and I was planning on wearing a mask when I went in there, but I like had a like just a memory fart or whatever, and just walked out of my car without it on. Like it's still not. I'm still not used to wearing it.
Mhm.
Um, so I walked out and I took one step into the guy's shop. It's like a really tiny shop, like eye
Mhm.
doctor. Um, and he like, oh, he immediately called me out and said you need to put a mask on. I was like, oh. I was like, because I'd meant to, and I was like annoyed with myself that he even had to remind me. So I had to just run back to my car real quick and grab one. Um,
Mhm. And
but
eye
yeah,
doctors are pretty, like, not to sound weird, but they're like an intimately close
yeah.
profession
hmm
that that
You're
I'd
within the six
understand.
feet.
Yeah, you're within 6 feet, and like I haven't been to a lot of eye doctors appointments or like a lot of appointments over my few years.
hmm
But like I know whenever I got my eyes looked at, I'm always basically face to face with the doctor who is looking directly into my eyes, and
Yeah.
he's breathing right next to you, you're breathing right next to him, and
hmm
I feel like with the mask that would probably be like one of the most important places to have it,
It would be, yeah.
along with just regular doctor's office.
Mm. Yeah. So it's gonna be part of the new normal, and
Yeah,
I don't know the
it's just
next
something
time.
that you are all gonna have to get accustomed to. All right.
Yeah, and I think people will. I think eventually. I
Yeah,
don't think
once all.
I don't think the anti-mask people will walk away victorious in the idea of like, haha, I never wore a mask once, and you could never make me. Like that's never like
Oh yeah.
that's not gonna be a thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's like if you're it's like with a lot of things. If you're making a big deal out of it, then I can probably guarantee you it's not that big of a deal.
hmm
And this whole mask thing, like, yeah, I mean, it's kind of a big deal, but at the same time, like, there's no reason you should be screaming at other people or berating, attacking people for not wearing a mask or for wearing a mask. I mean, it's
hmm
the person's choice. And until it's like signed into like an amendment in our constitution that you have to wear a mask.
I don't know how that would ever happen, but
Yeah,
you
I
never
don't
know.
think it would,
Crazier
but
things have
like,
happened.
yeah. But
But
anyways, now that we're we'll just stray away from the whole pandemic issue. I'm
hmm
sure everyone doesn't want to hear us talking about that all the time. Um,
yep. There's something you
watched a,
wanted to talk about, wasn't there? Right before we
yeah,
started.
I watched a pretty decent movie, Bennett.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on Hulu. It's
hmm
with Andy Samberg, one of the greatest comedic minds of our generation.
Right.
I'm not afraid to say that.
hmm
Palm Springs. Palm Springs was a great movie.
Yeah, it was.
And you can't say that a whole lot about streaming services straight to, service
hmm
movies. Like with Netflix, a lot of their movies are hit or miss,
Right.
and the same can go for Hulu. But this
hmm
movie I found to be one of the most hysterical movies I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was good. It had a
Oh.
big focus on um it's in the trailer, I'm pretty sure, that the idea of the time travel. And it's
Mhm.
not a movie that you originally would look at and go, "Oh, this is a time travel movie." Like it's it kind of just looks like a really lame like kind of West Coast like I don't know, like rom-com almost.
Mhm.
But it's very Groundhog Day. But it's
Yes.
like
Yes.
Groundhog Day, but they explain why it's Groundhog Day. Like
Mhm.
they don't
Yeah.
he doesn't fully understand uh why it's there. Like they don't ever explain that. They don't go that far. It's not like sci-fi in that regard, but like they just like, oh, it's there, it's doing something, and then these two or three people are trapped in it.
Mhm.
What?
And it the whole you know a lot of these movies, like if you look back at Groundhog Day, like
Mhm.
they I haven't seen the movie in a while, but I think I remember it, like he spends like a majority of the movie just focusing on like how and why he's still in this. Whereas in this movie with Palm Springs, it deals with, acceptance of just being in the loop.
Mhm.
And then towards like the latter half of the movie,
Right.
it's, okay, well, I think I'm going to get out of here.
Mhm.
And that's what, I found to be good is because they didn't just focus on just trying to get out of it. They, said, we're going to have some fun. We're going to do some just stupid stuff. And I think in the movie, at the beginning, like when they're trying to figure out like what's going on, Andy Samberg says like, yeah, there's no way of getting out of this. Even suicide. I've done suicide quite a few times,
Mhm.
and none of them seem to work. And uh,
Right.
I know suicide's no joke to be laughing about, but just
Mhm.
he just goes. I've tried it a lot,
Yeah.
and I've done a lot of them,
Mhm.
and I was just like, oh man, that's dark.
It is. It's a dark concept. And I did watch Groundhog Day like a few months back, like I think around the start of the quarantine. Um, I think I watched it on Amazon maybe, or maybe it was Hulu. I don't know. It doesn't matter where I watched it, but it was a very classic '80s movie in the
Hmm.
regard that like the plot is literally the idea that he just repeats the same day. Like that's the whole plot. Um, and it's about him becoming a better person, kind of. Like he's kind of an asshole at the beginning
Hmm.
of the movie, and then near the end, like he like tries to like he finds a way to be a better person, like make himself happy by winning the girl, I guess. I don't know. Um, and then this movie, they mix it up by Andy Samberg being in the loop already, and then somebody else getting added. And so you're kind of, as the audience member, taking the place of the person being added. I forget the girl's name, but um, she
She's
gets,
from How I Met Your Mother.
yeah, she plays the eventual mom, the mother.
Spoiler alert.
Well, the show's been around for a while, but um, and so she like follows him into the cave where there's like a mystical time loop and gets captured, and he's kind of the guide for her to explain like everything to her and the audience at the same time of like how this works and what the rules are, and eventually she also figures out how to get them out. And one thing I didn't like about them getting out of it is that they didn't bring the other guy with them. I
Yes,
was like,
yes, I
why did
know
they leave
exactly what
him?
you mean. It's like, is that gonna be like a second movie or something like that? Because
Yeah,
like
they do tease it that like he's aware that he's alone now.
hmm and like I was like, wait, so they're just gonna leave J.K. Simmons all by himself for
Mhm.
this? Because that's horrible.
Yeah,
I mean, granted, J.K. Simmons did kind of just leave him or try and murder him multiple times,
he did. He did do that.
but at the same time, you're like, what the hell? You're just
Mhm.
gonna leave this guy?
Right.
But yeah, I was like, so they're just leaving him, and now like these two are free, and I love the whole ending of it when they're like, what the hell are you doing in our pool?
Mhm.
And he goes, "Oh, I guess they come back November 10th."
Yeah, because
Because
they just
they've been
repeating the
stuck
same
on
day.
November 9th for
Mhm.
how many times? And
Years maybe.
yeah, and I just found it hilarious.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, we're about 30 minutes in, so I don't know if there's anything else you wanted to add or talk about
No,
real quick.
all I know is that I think next weekend we're gonna have a great episode for everyone.
Yeah, hopefully I can get
We're
the right things set up and it'll be fun.
Yeah, we're gonna have a special guest here,
Mhm.
hopefully next weekend. He's a good friend of ours, good friend of mine, and good friend of Bennett's, and
Mhm.
he provides a lot of comedic aspect to all of our day-to-day gaming adventures, and hopefully we can have him on, and hopefully you guys will enjoy him. We all do. And that's our friend Adam. He's making his first appearance on next week's podcast. So
Mhm.
hopefully you guys will enjoy. Like I said, we're gonna have a fun game. Hopefully, next weekend, and we'll see you then.
All right. See you then. Make sure to like, share, subscribe for
Yep,
more two dude stuff.
we are two dudes, different states. I'm Zach.
I'm Andrew.
Thanks for watching.